Welcome to Art Happy with Katie. We're going to draw an alert rabbit with shading.
Okay, now to draw our rabbit, the first thing I do when I'm trying to draw realistically is I look for a picture. And if it's something that I have at home, I'll take my own picture. But today I'm doing a rabbit, and sadly I do not own a rabbit, so I just looked up a picture on the internet. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to look at the scale of things. So I'm going to do a little measuring. So this ear is the same distance as from the top of the rabbit's head to about here. So make a little line on my drawing. And then it's also the same distance almost to the bottom of the rabbit, but not quite. So now I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to make mine about the same size. So I'm going to do my ear from there to there. I'm going to make a little line, and there to there, and then that same distance on the bottom, and plus I have a little bit extra. It might go off the page. And now I'm going to draw, what should I start with? I guess I might start with the ear because I already have it measured out. So what I'm going to do for this ear is I'm going to do sort of a C shape, and then it goes long down. Then I'm going to come around sort of a backward C shape, and it bends a little. It's not totally straight. And I'm going to see how far down my head's going to go. Now this next line is down to the chest. So the head, the bottom of the head's going to be about as big as the inside of the ear. So however big I've got the inside of the ear is how far down I'm going to make the head. Make the head about like that. So I'm just doing some real light guidelines. I don't try to draw anything perfect right at first. And that's why I draw kind of light lines, so then I can erase. And it's no big deal. Now I'm going to draw the head. The head's going to come out a straight line here, curve down, come out in a diagonal, and around. This is sort of a C shape here. This is called a 3/4 view. A 3/4 view is where you see 3/4 of one side. So you see mostly the side view, but a little bit of the front view. If we were on just the side view, you would only see half of the nose. But we see most of both sides of the nose. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the nose there because it kind of helps me have my bearings and start to see what I'm doing. I'm going to go over from the ear and draw the eye. So the eye is going to be somewhere around here, I think. If I drew a line up from the ear, it would come over a little bit from the edge of the ear. And I'm just going to draw a circle. And now I'm going to draw this ear. And if I'm going too fast, just pause it. I'm going to come up. This ear goes as tall as the other one. Is it kind of a C shape and then a line coming down. Again, not too straight. Things that are animals and things usually don't have lines that are too straight. They're a little bit wavy. This is going to come over here. And check. The ear looks like it needs to be a little fatter right there. Now this line, if you do print out a picture to look at, then you can always just kind of trace over it and see what the shape is. Makes it a lot easier. And to have a photo is what most people do unless you have someone sitting there. If you had your own rabbit and it would sit there very still, then that would be even better. But most people work from pictures a fair amount. I'll move mine up a little bit. Huh. Is that right? This doesn't look right, does it? One, two, three. Huh. Plus a little more. So this goes down to there. I think that looks needs to be a little wider. I'm making my body come down from the nose. Down like that. So I'm going to erase. I drew that one too skinny. So I'm going to erase there. And go back and see how this is looking. Now the inside of the ear, it's got, this part shows the outside and the inside. So I'm going to draw a little line here, coming around. It's going to come like that. And that one goes like that. Okay, so it's got a little like a V in the bottom, and then it's just got a little bit of a wavy line, and then it just kind of ends. If we add some shading, it'll look even better. Okay, I'm making sure this head looks weird. It looks, I mean, not too weird. So that is like that. Now we've got the mouth. The mouth kind of curves around for a little sort of a backward C shape here. It's that part of their snout is a little bit fatter. Now this part is a little fatter on this side. I'm going to erase some of those guidelines I had in the beginning. And the next thing is I'm going to do, it's kind of like there's a circle there, and then there's also a little bit of a U shape here, and then another U shape coming around, and that's going to be the back of his head. Or her. Or it. We don't know. That's going to come down there. Okay, so now it's starting to look kind of rabbity. I'm happy. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some, well, I guess I need to add its little back. So this part here is just comes out straight and then comes into a little C shape like that. These legs, it just comes up like that. And we're going to see a little bit of this back booty on that side. Okay. Now, if you wanted to add painting or color pencil or something, you could do that now. I'm just going to use pencil. So what I'm going to do now that I've got kind of most of my outline stuff is I'm going to start adding in a little shading. And I'm going to start with the eye. The eye fits into a socket. So I'm going to draw a little bit of an outline there so it doesn't look like my eyeballs are just stuck to the head with glue. They're in there. So I'm just going to go around. Did a little bit of a point in the front. Their eyes are very round compared to most people. Our eyes tend to be a little more, the lids cover them up. They get a little more almond shape. Now I'm going to draw, I'm going to kind of do more circles and to start make it darker on the outside. And get a little bit lighter in the middle, and then I'm going to leave some highlights. Leave a little highlight there. By making it darker on the outside and lighter in the middle, it just tends to make it look a little more three-dimensional. A little more highlight. And now I can't really see an iris, which is, I mean a pupil, but I think I'm going to exaggerate and kind of give it one because that'll just make it look better. Oh yeah. So now I'm going to come over here and do a little bit of shading here. Now on this rabbit, sometimes I try to make things look really smooth, but a lot of times on rabbits I don't. I just like it to look a little sketchy. If you have any guidelines showing, like I had a guideline here, I'm going to go ahead and erase that before I get too far in my shading, because then it would be hard to get rid of it later. So I'm going to get rid of anything I don't need. I've got a little bit extra lines here on my face, or wasn't quite sure about the shape. Get rid of those. So now in this ear, I'm going to see about this ear shape. I think it comes in a little bit there, a little bit there. And this, if you had any art pencils, you could switch to a darker pencil, and that would make it a little bit faster going. But you can do great drawings with whatever you have, not to worry. You can do a little smudging. I'm not a big fan of too much smudging because you've got grease on your fingers and it can kind of turn yellow over time. But if you want it to look smooth, you could do a little smudge here and there. That's going to come down there. And I'm not going to shade everything. I'm just doing some areas. I'm going to do a little right around this eye. And sometimes when there's the rabbit has different colors like this, you want to also think about the shading, making it look three-dimensional and not getting too worried about the colors. Because you still want it to look, you know, like a good drawing and like it's more lifelike than just flat like a cartoon. Oops. Knocked my picture off. Now under here, there's always a little shading under the neck. It comes out like that. I might make her neck come down a little bit fuzzy, not too straight. I'm going to do that everywhere. And now here, this part, the white part is actually part of the front legs, I believe. And so going to just shade the back legs a little bit, and therefore kind of create the front by shading what's behind it. Now make this nose a little bit darker. It's a little bit of a fatter triangle towards the bottom. And this little line's got a little bit of a curve there. And a little mouth. Cute. Now I'm going to draw some whiskers. The trick on whiskers is to always start from the inside and then try to lighten up your pencil as you go out. And then they look kind of wispy, like real whiskers do. And there's also lots of little dots here. Da, 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 da. There we go. I might do a little bit in here. Oh, I still have a guideline. There we go. Now this back part, you can't see it that well. If you have really very dark contrast and very precise details, your eye tends to go there. So you don't want to make the parts on the back your brightest, most interesting parts. So hopefully, I really want to make it where you look at his face most of all. I'm going to go back and make this even darker. And I tried to work the whole page. Sometimes when I was first learning to draw, I would get really into the face, because that's the most interesting part. And then later you realize that it doesn't fit on your paper. Or what I would do a lot of times is I would start shading the eye, and then I realized the eye wasn't exactly in the right spot. And then you've got so much erasing. So I try to work the whole page. I do one area, and then I go to another area, and try to kind of stand back from it every now and then and check out what I'm doing. And see if it looks good. So I'm doing a little of this chest part here. And if you want the lines to be smooth, I usually go 3 different directions. I'll do my shade lines, or can be called hatches. I'll do my hatches in one direction, and then a second direction, and then a third direction. Now if I have something round, like this eyeball here, I try to do my hatches in the shape of the round eyeball, because then they kind of help make it look even more real. A few more in here. It's hard to know when to stop. If you're going to shade the whole thing, you just keep going and going. But if you're just trying to do a little bit of shading, sometimes it's hard to know when it's done. A lot of times the best thing to do is just to walk away and then come back. And then when you come back, you can see it with new eyes. There we go. I like it. I hope you like yours too. And thanks for watching Art Happy with Katie. And subscribe, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to sign your picture. Artists sign their name on the bottom of the paper. So I might sign mine over here when I know I'm done. Oh, there we go. Thank you.